Oh, Achilles gets the armor from Thetis. Thetis is like, here you go, honey, here's your armor. And Achilles goes out to start the fucking war. And he's like, I'm gonna start the war tonight. But everyone's like, can we, like, sleep first and eat? And Achilles is like, fine, but I'm not gonna eat until Patroclus is buried and Hector is dead. Because he's pissed off. He's been pissed off since the beginning of the book. But they make him a little less pissed off because Agamemnon gives him a whole ton of presents that he promised him whenever he came back to the war. And he gives him Briseis back, which is the whole reason that he quit the army in the first place. So that's pretty sweet. But anyway, everybody else is eating, and Achilles is just sitting there being a fucking sulk, like he has gotten really good at over the course of the poem. But at this point, the gods feel sorry for him because he's actually doing something noble, and Athena comes down and gives him a whole bunch of nectar and ambrosia, but doesn't give it to him, doesn't tell him, because he wouldn't eat. She just puts like an IV in him and then feeds him that way, feeds him fucking intravenously, so he doesn't need to eat, so he feels like he's doing a real good job. Anyway, then the fight starts. But first, Achilles gets on his horses and he bitches out his horses about how they left Patroclus on the battlefield. And his horses bitch him out right back. Like, motherfucker, it was the will of the gods that he died. We're horses. What are we supposed to do? And Achilles is like, holy fuck, talking horses. No time for this. Time to fight. So he goes onto the battlefield, and he just starts murdering left and right, and to the middle, and to the up and down, and to the side to side. Every which way that there could be murder, and some new directions that had not yet been invented. All have murder in them now. All are completely full of murder. And Zeus is like, holy shit, if we allow this to go on unchecked, the Trojans might lose finally. Even though they're fated to, and I know that that's what is fated to happen. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow all of the gods who I've been barring from participating in this war to suddenly participate. Hey gods, you can do whatever you want now. And the gods are like, oh fuck, sweet, awesome. We just want to watch. So they go down and they sit on a hill and they watch this shit happen. So, except for Apollo. Apollo decides that he wants to get involved. So, he goads Aeneas into going to fight Achilles. And Aeneas comes up to fight Achilles. And Achilles kicks his ass to the point that Apollo needs to steal him off the battlefield and put him somewhere else. And then Hector sees this shit going on. He's like, I need to duel Achilles. And Apollo's like, no, dude, you're going to fucking die. Aeneas is a way better fighter than you, and he lost, so you just need to back the fuck off. And Hector watches Achilles murder like 200 more men, and then is like, alright, I'm fucking challenging this guy. So he challenges him, and Achilles whoops his ass up and down and to the left and to the right and to side, to the point where Apollo has to steal him off the battlefield. So then Achilles is running around super pissed off, just murdering dudes and throwing them into the river Xanthus. And the river Xanthus has feelings. So it's like, hey Achilles, you better stop murdering all these dudes and throwing them into the water. And Achilles is like, I'll stop throwing him into the water, but I'm not gonna stop murdering dudes. So he keeps murdering dudes. But Xanthus is sympathetic to the Trojans. So Xanthus is like, well, I'm gonna kill you then. And it rises up. And it starts trying to kill Achilles, and it sucks him under the water and starts drowning him, but Athena comes to help out, because she sets the ground on fire. She sets the fucking ground under the water on fire and boils the river away, to the point where Achilles can escape. So that's how he survives that. He gets out, and he keeps murdering more Trojans. Just murdering them, running up to the walls of the city, and King Priam opens up the doors of Troy to let everybody get in. And he thinks that Achilles is going to get in and murder everybody. But Apollo sends a dude down to distract him. There's just this one Trojan running around like, can't get me. And for some reason, Achilles wants to kill him more than anyone else in the world. So he just keeps like running after this guy until all of the Trojans have gotten into the city. Except for Hector. Because Hector is a fucking dumbass. So he decides to wait outside. And then he sees Achilles coming. And he's like, oh shit, this was such a bad idea. I need to get into the city now. But he can't. So he starts running away. But then Athena shows up disguised as Hector's friend, Deiphobos, who actually was one of the guys that nobody cares about from previously in the book, who got injured. Anyway, Athena shows up disguised as him and is like, dude, I totally got your back. We can take Achilles together. And Hector's like, yeah, you're right. So, oh wait, no, that happens after some shit happens, because Hector starts running away from Achilles, and he runs around the city. Achilles chases him around the city, like, yeah, go get you, motherfucker, 3 times around the entire city, and on the 4th time, that's when Athena shows up as Deiphobos, convinces him to stop. Hector turns around, goes to throw a spear at Achilles, misses. Achilles throws a spear at him, misses. Hector turns around and is like, Deiphobos, give me another. Oh shit, you're not here, and the gods have betrayed me. So then Achilles runs up, uses his knowledge of the weak points in his own armor, which is what Hector's wearing, to stab Hector in the throat, kills him, then stabs him some more times. And all of the Trojans are up on top of the walls watching this happen, including Hector's wife and kids, and they're all like, ooh. please give us back the body. And Achilles is like, fuck no, gonna call over all the other Greeks and have them stab this body mercilessly over and over again. Then I'm gonna tie it to the back of my chariot and drag the body face first through the dirt, around and around the grave of Patroclus, over and over, while crying and masturbating for days and days and days and days. And he does this for days and days and days and days, and until Patroclus finally shows up in his dream like, hey dude, can you fucking bury me already? So Achilles buries him. And even though he had made a solemn vow not to shower until he'd buried Patroclus, so he probably smells like shit at this point. Anyway, he buries Patroclus, then they have some games. Diomedes wins with the favor of the gods, which causes this other dude to get displaced to last place, which makes Achilles want to give the second prize trophy to the guy in last place, because the second place guy cheated anyway, and there's this big fight, but then it's cool. Anyway, then King Priam finally gets his balls up as a result of the gods constantly nagging him to go into Achilles' camp with the help of Hermes and be like, hey, Achilles, could I have the mutilated body of my son back, please, finally? Remember the love that you have for your father or something. And Achilles is like, ooh, fine, you can have the body back. And he gives him the body back. And he's like, now leave before I murder you. And so Priam leaves before he gets murdered. And he takes the body back, and they set up a funeral pyre for him, and everybody gets a reprieve from fighting for a while they deal with all this corpse bullshit. And that is the end of the Iliad. Now, doesn't that piss you off? The city doesn't fall. You don't get to see the Trojan horse. You don't get to see Achilles' heel get stabbed out. None of the cool shit happens in the Iliad. Where do we even know those stories from? Huh? I don't know. I don't even fucking know. Anyway, that's the end. Hope you're satisfied. Oh, fuck, right. I forgot there's supposed to be a moral to this or something. Alright, well, I guess the moral of this story is that as long as you're a sufficiently badass fighter, you can be as much as a fucking pansy and puss out as many times as you want. You just have to save the day at the last possible moment. And then you get to drag a dude around by the face behind your chariot. So buy a chariot. Really, the moral of the story is buy a chariot. Chariots are sweet. Have you ever seen one of those?